There's this invisible revolution happening literally right under our feet. It's a hidden technology that's completely transforming our subways, and it might just be the only thing keeping our growing cities from grinding to a total halt. So let's dive in and see how it all works. Okay, so picture this. Some of the busiest subways in the world. They're running on tech that's over 100 years old. It's kind of like the wiring in a historic house, except this wiring is responsible for moving millions of people every single day. And when it fails, and believe me, it does fail, the consequences are, well, they're not pretty. We're talking everything from citywide shutdowns to absolute tragedy.
So that brings us to our first section. What happens when a system this old gets pushed way past its breaking point? In cities like New York, we saw exactly that, a moment where the old way just completely failed and public safety was just hanging by a thread.
You see, the biggest problem with the old system was that it had basically zero margin for error. A single misread signal, one moment of inattention from an operator, and things could go catastrophically wrong. And if you look at this history of accidents in New York, it's just grim. These weren't just random system failures. A lot of them were preventable tragedies.
And then came the breaking point. 1991, a train derailed at Union Square. The cause? Speed. 5 people lost their lives. That single accident, that was the catalyst. It was this horrible, painful wake-up call that the old system just wasn't safe enough anymore. Something had to change.
And that tragedy is what pushed everyone to adopt a truly revolutionary new system. It's called Communications-Based Train Control, or CBTC for short. Basically, it was time to drag the subway's nervous system kicking and screaming into the digital age.
So what is CBTC really? Well, think of it as a gigantic digital upgrade. The old system was kinda dumb. It only knew if a huge chunk of track had a train on it or not. But CBTC, it uses radios and sensors to create this constant two-way conversation between the trains and the control center. It knows exactly where every single train is and how fast it's going, all in real time.
And the difference is it's night and day. The old fixed block system was like a highway broken up into these massive, mile-long sections, and you could only have one car in a section at a time. Super safe, I guess, but ridiculously slow. CBTC, though, it's like giving every single train its own GPS and a direct line to every other train. They all know exactly where everyone else is, letting them travel way closer together, totally safely. It's like a high-speed digital caravan.
And this is where it gets really good, because this new system unlocks a ton of benefits. You get more trains running closer together, which means more capacity. You get way better safety with automatic protections, and you get a whole lot more flexibility to handle delays. Oh, and you know those countdown clocks at the station that tell you when the next train is coming? Yeah, this is the magic that actually makes them accurate.
But okay, theory is one thing. How in the world do you install a brand new digital nervous system into a subway that's over a century old and literally never stops running? It's like trying to perform open-heart surgery on a patient while they're running a marathon. It sounds impossible, right? Well, New York City decided to give it a shot with a big test case.
They picked the L train, or the Canarsie line if you want to be official, to be the guinea pig. It was kind of the perfect choice because it's a pretty self-contained line. But the challenge was still just immense. I mean, how do you install and test this whole new system on a super busy train line without just shutting it down completely for years?
A huge piece of the puzzle was giving every single train a new brain. This is basically an onboard computer that's always talking to the main control center. It's constantly taking in new info and, most importantly, calculating its own exact position and figuring out the absolute safest speed to be traveling at any given moment.
So how does it all work? Well, you've got sensors on the wheels that are always measuring how far the train has gone. Then you have these things called transponders on the tracks. Think of them like digital street signs that confirm the train's location as it passes. All that data gets beamed back to the control center over a radio link, creating this amazing live digital picture of the entire line.
And the results? Honestly, they were a game changer. I mean, sure, there were some bugs to work out at first, but once they did, the L train was running more trains, more on time, and with way fewer safety incidents than ever before. The pilot was a huge success. It proved that this technology wasn't just some cool idea on paper. It could actually work in one of the most difficult transit environments on the planet.
So the L train was a big win. But rolling this out across an entire city or across the globe, now we're talking about a completely different level of cost and complexity. This is not like just pushing a software update to your phone.
Yeah, the price tag isn't just for the fancy new computers and radios. The really big money gets spent on all the site-specific work. You have to retrofit every single train car. You have to upgrade ancient electrical rooms buried underground. And you have to do all of it on nights and weekends so you don't shut down the city. It's a massive, incredibly expensive, and really slow puzzle to solve.
And the scale of this whole thing is just mind-blowing. As our cities get more and more crowded, the demand for this tech is exploding. We're talking about a global market that's projected to more than double to over $15 billion in the next decade. So this isn't just a New York thing or a London thing. It's a fundamental global shift in how we move people through cities.
But here's the really exciting part. CBTC isn't just about fixing the problems of the past. It's actually the foundation for the entire future of public transit. It's the key that unlocks everything that comes next.
What it does is create a clear roadmap to automation. They call it the grades of automation, or GOA. You start at grade 1, which is basically what we have now, a human driver with an automatic safety net. Then you move to grade 2, semi-automatic, which is what the L train has. But from there, it paves the way for driverless trains, and even fully unattended trains with no staff on board at all. And this isn't science fiction. Systems like that are already up and running in places like Vancouver and Paris.
So what's the big takeaway here? This invisible upgrade is absolutely critical. Our cities are growing, and they need to move more people. CBTC lets them do that by squeezing more capacity out of the tracks they already have, instead of having to build brand new, incredibly expensive lines. It really is the key to a more efficient and, honestly, a more sustainable transit system for all of us.
At the end of the day, what we're looking at here is a massive shift from an old analog past to a new digital future. It's expensive, it's complicated for sure, but as our cities get more and more crowded every single day, it leaves us with one really big question to think about. Is this invisible revolution the only way to keep us all moving?